we have once again a brand new product from Leaperkim, and now it's the newest 22-inch Leaperkim wheel called the Oryx. Now, after what they've done last time with a 22-inch wheel, which wasn't the most successful, really they've put in huge developmental efforts onto this new Oryx. There's a lot of new key features that we're going to dive into and find out whether or not they're all that useful, and we're going to do a quick review test and find out what we think about this new 22-inch beast. So let's watch this video and find out. So this newest 22-inch wheel from Leaperkim features a 57.5 kilogram electric unicycle with a free spin of 150 kilometers an hour, with a 4,200 watt motor, a completely new platform at 176 volts with 4,700 watt hours. Now, the estimated range of this electric unicycle is 200 kilometers an hour, and it also features an IPX6 waterproof rating. Now, one of the key components of the new Leaperkim Oryx is obviously its suspension. Now, much like all their other suspension wheels, it's made by FastAce, and this is exactly the same. However, you're going to notice that this is something completely different. It looks very, very different. 你要一起来跟我吗？你看这个减震酷不酷？好不好看？
这是什么呀？
这个是减震器。
告诉我的是不是？
就是你压下去会很舒服，知道吗？减震器。你有没有看过有些自行车里面有减震器？
下雨了。
下雨了呀，是啊，要下雨了，你要找躲雨的地方啊。哎呦，
我用手。
挡不住的，你用手挡不住，我帮你挡。
我外婆都没带伞过来。
那怎么办？没带伞，要下雨了。
要下大雨了，快点！
快点，快点，快点！拜拜，拜拜，去找躲雨。我还没有办法回家。One of the key components of the new Leaperkim Oryx is its suspension. Now, we know Leaperkim has had a long-standing relationship with FastAce, which has made all of their suspension electric unicycles. But this is something completely different. Not only does it feature its new bidirectional dampening system, where it means that no longer are rebound and compression separate, you now have two suspension sticks, which are exactly the same. Now, the improvements of this new suspension, we'll have to test out in the long run to see exactly what they are. But supposedly, Leaperkim have told me that because of the way it mounts to the new Oryx, it means that you can actually feel the structural integrity still kept a huge part in place. Unlike the Lynx where you feel that there's a lot of frame flex, that's a lot of it due to the suspension style. Now, with this, you also have another improvement, which means that the tolerance between the inner pole and the outer pole are no longer that great. So when you go back and forth on the wheel, you're not going to feel that gap. This suspension is also nothing you've seen on the market. This pole actually penetrates all the way through. So when you compress, now the typical front fork suspension is where the top side compresses down or reversed of that. So I don't know what you call it, but your typical like mountain bike fork suspension. This is something that has never been seen in the e-bike world or in the car world. So this is something completely brand new, and they definitely have a patent for this. We'll have to test it out and see how good it is, but it's cool to see that Leaperkim are spending the time with making unique suspension that are catered to electric unicycles. Now let's look at the Leaperkim Oryx. Starting off from the back right here, this is the new 176 volt platform, the charge ports, and still the familiar tail light that you see on the Lynx. With its kickstand, it's also a new feature where you can actually fold up the kickstand so it's out of the way, and it folds down, and you can actually mount the kickstand lower so that if you want your wheel to sit more upright when it's on its kickstand, you can do that, which also provides a unique option where if you mount the kickstand low, you might be able to have a rod right here for if you're doing a long distance ride. Hopefully someone will come up with a rack for something like that. Now, coming off to its side, again, it's magnesium alloy frame, something familiar on the Leaperkim wheels, but you actually don't see the suspension anymore. You have a completely smooth surface. In regards to the kickstand, in regards to the pedals have decent amount of spikes, and they're seen on the edges and also in the middle. And these look like they should be replaceable as well, which is really cool. Additionally, you can actually mount the pedals lower. So I think out of factory, they're going to be in this position, but if you want it lower, you can mount it one position lower. Another signature with Leaperkim's wheels is its jump pad. So they've actually changed the curvature of this. We'll have to see if this design change makes it a little bit more comfortable, but as you can see, it's got less of a flat surface and more of a curvature. Again, still the screw where you can adjust to the different height. Difficult to do with one hand. Up at the top, you also have Leaperkim's signature trolley handle that locks in place and is quite easy to use. On the top, you also have your compression adjustment, high or soft. And it's the same on the other side, as I said. Both sides are exactly the same. Coming up to the front, you also have a front headlight. Now this headlight is 25 watts or 3000 lumens, but it also features these two warning lights. Now these aren't RGB, so you can't change the color of these lights, but if someone makes different acrylic colors, you'll be able to change the colors or what you'll see. So let's compare the two lights. So on the Lynx, we'll turn off the Oryx's light right now. On the Lynx, you'll see that it's only on or off. And it's got a huge spread, like there's no central point. So on the newer Oryx light, you'll find that there's a focus point. And there is a cutoff on the bottom and kind of a cutoff at the top, even though it's not that obvious. But it does do a little bit better in focusing on where it needs to kind of light up the road. Whereas on the Lynx, it's just kind of brightening up the entire area ahead of you without a real focus point, and that can lead to blinding a lot of unintended people who are walking towards you. Brightness wise, they're relatively the same. Now, through the hardware and software of the Oryx is also a smart BMS where you'll be able to see all the individual cell information of the wheel. But in the software side, they've actually implemented something brand new, which is that you can actually lock this wheel up with a password. We're going to demonstrate how to set the password on the new Oryx. So you'll have to go into the settings. If you go all the way down to the menu, you'll find the password function. So when your unit is completely brand new, the password is just going to be 000 or no password at all. So for this demo purpose, we're going to set it to 1234. Go down the page and then turn the password on. Okay. And then confirm, hit save. That's it. Now, when you turn off the wheel and turn it back on, you'll be required to enter the password. Otherwise, it won't balance. So we'll enter the password as we set before. So 1234 is the password we set. And it's balancing now. Okay, and now we're going to show you the next function. So powering off, powering on, again requires you to enter your password. So to adjust the settings of your password, you must enter the password again. So now it's on. Now if we change this function to off, and we hit save. So when you turn off the wheel, you'll have to hit the power button 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You'll see the display says low. And now when you turn on the wheel, it'll require you to enter the password. So this means, right, if you're popping up to a store and you're leaving your wheel outside, you can choose to turn it off normally, which will allow you to turn the wheel on instantly without the password, or you can enter the one-time passcode function. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, did I do it correctly? 1, 2, 3. Display says low, and now I'll have to enter the password. That's it. Now the wheel is balancing. That's how you use the one-time passcode feature on the Oryx. $150 this time. Okay, so just as advertised. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts after riding the Oryx around for a couple of days. First off, let's talk about the power. Of all the bigger wheels I've tried, I felt that this wheel was the most unified and the most complete package. The motor didn't feel sluggish as it's a full rim motor. They haven't used a Lynx motor and increased the spoke height to match it to a 22-inch wheel. Instead, Leaperkim have actually gone out to create a new motor, which is crucial for a wheel this big, to not make it feel like it's sluggish, and even though it's a bit heavier than the Sherman L, it only rides marginally heavier. The Oryx still feels relatively nimble to its size due to its design and power delivery. Now the Oryx, as far as I know, will come with 2 tire options, an off-road tire and a street tire option. I personally like the off-road tire a bit better. When going through water, a bit of sprayback does happen, but it is not significant. This wheel at slower speeds, given its size, is still totally manageable, but you definitely have to be an experienced rider to be able to maneuver at such slow speeds. In terms of suspension, I felt the suspension provided more support. The previous versions of Leaperkim suspension had a lot of movement, which is comfortable, but will put you in trouble if you wanted to off-road fast. This new style of suspension offered a great balance between support on impact and comfort. Lastly, seated riding, obviously given its wheel size, was super comfortable. For the first time, it's a wheel I feel like I didn't need to add any padding to it. I could sit comfortably on top of it. If I was doing a long range tour, the Oryx is perfect for it. What are your honest impressions, first impressions of the Oryx?
It feels heavy, but rides relatively nicely for how heavy it is. As you would expect out of a Leaperkim, feels pretty good. Just some awkward knee contact points, just like the Lynx, but not bad.
Okay. Thank you for tuning into this quick look at the Oryx. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.